Green like the bean. Green like the bean. That means the show is back. We got threes, we got twos, we got ones. Say something, fam. Hello, welcome back. It's been a minute. Great to see y'all. Great to see you, my boy. Great to see the homie Reek behind the cam. Feeling blessed, sending blessings.
Mm-hmm.
As you guys know, no matter how long it's been since our last show, we're going to stick to traditions. And as we always do, we ask you to look to your right, look to your left, check in your phone, send a quick checkup on somebody, a message. You never know when it might make a difference. So, Mitch, let the folks know what's going on with you, how you been since we've seen you last. It's been a minute.
Doing good, doing great. What's going on, everybody? Happy holidays to everybody who's out there right now.
Woo!
Just been doing a bunch of different holiday stuff. Went out and cut down a tree.
Oh, wow.
Went out and did some shopping, just trying to get my last minute stuff done so I don't have to be in the rush of everybody on like the 17th, 18th, 19th.
Man.
Speaking of the 17th, that's going to be my mom's birthday.
Wow.
So planning on doing something for her as well. Nice to see her. Been hanging out with her a bunch too. So just happy to be in the holiday spirit right now. How about you?
Man, I'm in the holiday spirit, but I'm looking to get to this break from school, from the internship, from everything else, to just allow things to slow down for a little bit and really embrace the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I had a very good, Thanksgiving. So like the festivities, the mood, still very righteous, still very there. But I'm very much so in the thick of things when it comes to a lot of this master's program stuff and just kind of finalizing the last bit of this journey, which, as exciting as it is also very draining, very tiring. So I'm just keeping my eyes, on the present day, because I've told myself not to look too far forward, because I tend to do that with things that I'm not always maybe enjoying the most. And then sometimes I look back and I'm like, you know what? I should have enjoyed that a little bit more, or at least just embraced the moment a little more and not been so forward thinking and trying to just never be there in the moment. So I told myself with this year, I will not do that. And I'm trying my best. And so the break, I think, will just be a nice little reset and allow me to regain, not only the confidence, but just the overall stamina to just attack this last true leg, including this research project.
Can still see the finish line though.
I can. And believe it or not, it actually has moved quick. It feels like just yesterday I started everything. So, for those of you who are going through a grind, a journey, I know how that feels. Don't be afraid to, look out and get a little bit of help if it's needed, or just express yourself, and be who you are, hold your boundaries, and just remember things will be done sooner than later for sure. So keep your head down and get that work done. And there will be brighter days on the other side. And I'm feeling like that every day, but very thankful still. And just excited to be back with the show, man. It's been a while, and how life's. Sometimes the show ends up getting put to the back burner, sadly. But we're always thinking about the channel. We're always thinking about y'all. And of course, we're always thinking about sports. Right? So it's seamless to come back, and we're excited to be here. So let's get to the agenda. Today we have the NFL to start with.
Oh boy.
Figured why not, right? A sport that is kind of heading towards the playoffs. Finally, we're getting
for some.
Right. Definitely not for all teams, as we all know. There's not an award, sadly, for participating. But, you might get a little gem or two blessed with you in the draft the next year for those kind of L's. But, yeah, so with the standings, we're starting to finally see a little bit of the playoff picture, as they call that. Excuse me. So, just taking a quick look, it's been quite a crazy season. We're in week 14? 15. So we have teams that are, 11-2. We have teams that are 9-4. So really kind of a decent understanding of where these teams are. And, before we jump into our own teams, if you just take a quick glimpse, it has been quite a season in terms of, who I thought would be where, just how some of these divisions have ended up playing out is just odd, flat out odd. And to me, I don't know about you, but I don't. The only thing I don't feel like I have a clear sense of is who's actually legit. I think I know who's ready to play playoff ball, but in terms of like where I'd put my coin, which I don't, but if I put my coin into someplace, it would be more than usual an absolute definition of a gamble.
Right.
Where it's just I don't see any consistency. Right. So we'll touch on that probably as we leave out of the two teams that we follow. But that's just kind of where I wanted to make sure him and I got a chance to look it over. And I'm sure you guys are checking out the standings as well. So just kind of acknowledging overall where the season is at before diving any deeper. But we can start right now with the Niners. So the Niners, obviously, as you guys know,
9-4.
We're 9-4 and somehow third in the division. So in a very strong division, right? The
4-1.
Yeah. Oh yeah, cooking. The only losses to the Rams, who are downright dirty. Respectfully speaking, we haven't played Seattle again. So that'll be interesting because Seattle's hot as well.
Those two are playing this week too.
Yes, which will be great to see. I actually like that matchup more than a lot of matchups that end up taking the Rams on. I think Seattle definitely, in terms of that high-octane offense, Seattle sure has the DBs, the speed on defense to work with that air attack. So I love that matchup. Just a little sad that we're all just having decent seasons. And at the end of the day, the only thing that kind of interests me about all this is, I wouldn't mind taking a moral season. I really wouldn't. I've been saying this the whole time, and we're now too late to be turning back to the whole let's draft somebody. I mean, that's done. We're gonna end with a winning record, more than likely. But I think it might actually be guaranteed. Yeah, and so overall, it's just kind of crazy that this normally would put you like right in a hey man, we're in the clear. And we could easily still not make it. I mean, I think I like our chances in the wild card the way that things are looking. But man, nothing's easy over here in the NFC West. So just looking a little bit about what's happened lately for the good old red and gold, we had as our most recent game was versus the Browns, and I believe last week we had a bye because
it was no Christian McCaffrey last week.
Right, because
we know that all fantasy managers know
we're hurting.
You got C-Mac. He was not playing last week.
We're cooked. So this game is the last one that we can look at. Obviously, we all know the Browns are 3-9, so no need to talk about whether they're contending or not. But this is a team that notoriously plays well against us, just because they have a very strong defense, and we're a team that makes things ugly. And so when you have a good defense, there's a likelihood you can stick with us. Somehow in this game, it never really felt close at all, even though nothing looks great across the board.
Yeah, I mean, just a side note real quick on the Browns. You guys playing the Browns and Shedeur Sanders. Since it has been a while, he's been somebody who obviously we all saw got picked in the 5th round. He was supposed to be a first-round pick.
Absolutely.
Then he comes in after all these injuries, and now he's playing. The first game he plays is against the Raiders, and immediately everybody's just like, "Oh yeah, he's him. He's the guy. He's the best player ever. He should have been started." And I just want I want all the success in the world for Shedeur Sanders.
Absolutely.
But if you're gonna flip the switch that hard on him playing the Raiders, that's crazy talk to me. And even these last couple of games you've seen when he's played solid defenses, he's looked like a rookie, like a average rookie.
A meager,
and like a mediocre guy. So I hope he continues to get better, but I just don't like how the media has immediately switched after the whole beginning of the season NFL draft process. They were really digging in on him, acting like he shouldn't even be playing. Right. And then he plays the Raiders one week, and they're like, "See, you guys are just idiots." And it's like, come on, bro. Cool. It's the Raiders. Yeah. And when they played other good teams, he hasn't looked good. So just talk about it like that. Be real about it. He's looking all right. He's not terrible. He's making the Browns look somewhat respectable when they are looking terrible with Dylan Gabriel, quarterback. Boy. So just give him some time. Let's more evaluate him next year rather than him just getting thrown into the season after being doubted the whole time. So just a little side note on Shedeur, seeing him so much,
16
and how it's been such a huge flip from
Rocks.
being zero to a hero is just like let's take it easy, guys.
Absolutely. 16 for 25, 149 yards, one tutty for Shedeur Sanders. So again, like Mitch is saying, very, very mediocre. And then if you watch the game, like I think those stats even look reasonable for how he looked. And we didn't have to do a lot. Our defense played great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our defense, I will say, the best offseason signing. And I mentioned this really early on. I felt like was Salah. And he's proven it. The big dog, Cleveland Farrell, who all Raiders fans are familiar with, he's back with the Niners again. 2 sacks during the game.
He's playing as if he should have been drafted in the 3rd round or 4th round.
Right.
Kind of guy where in year 7, he's, showing a little promise as a veteran.
Right. 9 tackles, 6 solo, 2 sacks. Crazy. Crazy for a D. Actually, crazy stats for a DN. That is wild.
My man has career game that gets
good
the Browns.
Lord. Cooking. And then, C-Mac doing his Dougie, nothing crazy. I mean, 20 for 53 is not what you want to see out of efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
But getting another tutty and just showing, every game in and game out, he's going to get it done. Mm-hmm. Judkins, I think, is going to be great.
Yeah.
In the long run, Mans is giving me Nick Chubb's 2.0 vibes. 23 carries, 91 yards, earned it. Because we were there every step of the way.
Yeah.
And he sure earned that. And so then, if you look back at some of the previous games prior to that, we had the Panthers where we 20-9'd them, which I thought was, pretty good. I believe this was Purdy's first game back. Might have been the second game back. These 3 games that we've been on a winning streak. Maybe Purdy has been back. I'll double check that in 2 seconds. But he sure did enough to get it done. But I thought he almost threw the game away literally against the Panthers. He had 23 for 32, 1 tutty, 193 yards, and a good old 3 picks, which is something you never like to see. Very unorthodox from my boy. Not all of them were mistakes, but watching that game was a little scary. And I think that his decision-making this year, the thing about Brock Purdy is when we go down all these guys, he just becomes a different guy, and it's his mentality sometimes, where he just tries to do too much. And that's so not who he is when he's productive that I'm hoping that's the youngness in him.
Right.
To where, because the only time you see it is when we're down 100 guys. And he's just like, I don't even know these guys. And so, like, I'm going to just try to be Vic today. And it's like, okay, you're not Vic. Relax. But again, C-Mac here, 24 carries, 89 yards. Each game, I'm not even going into his receptions because we always know he's putting up some numbers in the receiving yards category. But he had a tutty here again. So just dominant. And we shut down good old Bryce as we normally do when we have those kind of games. And then the one game I'll talk about prior to that, because I remember us going over the Rams' loss, is going to be the 41-22 victory that we had over the Cardinals, which I thought was a terrific bounce back from what happened with the Rams, where, we just don't have the guys to line up with the Rams. I thought we fought valiantly and just came up short. So to see us come back this next game, put up a 41 on an Arizona Cardinals team that really, at the end of the day, with Brissett, is fighting, right? They're fighting way harder than they were with Kyler Murray. And boy, Brissett went 47 for 57 against us. 2 TDs, 2 picks, 452 yards. So he was absolutely throwing the pigskin. But Purdy, 19 for 26, super efficient, 3 TDs, 200 yards, just getting it done. And then you got C-Mac over there, 13 carries, 81 yards, 2 tutties, and good old Georgie Kittle, who has led us in receiving in the majority of those games I just was mentioning. I just didn't even get to that point because some of those weren't super high. But 6 receptions, 67 yards, 2 tutties as well with him. So, the last bit of the stars we have been showing up, which has been phenomenal to see because sometimes I think it's easy to just pack it in. And I think that really is a testament to this team, to John Lynch, right? To Kyle Shanahan, to Saleh, Robert Saleh, that is. The dedication that they have to this organization clearly is shown with how the players respond. And they don't want to let these guys down. And they're going to go lay it on the line. So somehow we are continuing to win, obviously being 9-4 and showing you guys that last 3-game winning streak. We are still winning with literally nobody out there and tons of injuries. I also did mention at the beginning of the year that I thought this schedule was extremely weak.
Right.
So let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I do not feel like we're week in and week out playing the goons. We are absolutely playing the bottom of the barrels. And thank goodness, right? That the only positive that I will take from this is I think a lot of our youngsters are learning the winning ways. They're learning how to be a Niner, right? And they're getting confidence because they're not just going out there getting smacked, right? They're actually getting some dubs. And that's a great way to come into the league or continue to ascend, is kind of have a season like this. But I want to make sure all the faithful and everybody is realizing, I predicted us to have 1 or 2 losses on the year, right? And we are not far away from that with the team that we have, which is a team of absolutely nobody that I expected to be here. And so that just should tell all of you guys what this schedule really is, right? With this is a cakewalk. So even though I'm happy we're winning and I've highlighted what I think is super positive about these wins, in terms of player development, it's also, let's be real. Let's just be real about it. We have the Titans left, the Colts and the Bears, as well as the Seahawks, right? So the Seahawks are the Seahawks are the real deal. And that could very well be for playoffs. If all things go. And the Colts would have been the real deal too, right? Like the Colts, this would have been
that's tough.
This would have been the toughest little stretch.
You never know with Philly. That boy Phillip Rivers might come in there. Slang it. You never know. He said, I got JT back here. Man. Just hand it off. And then, Michael Pitt, Tyler Warren. I'll just throw it to you guys all the time.
And that will be a part of this segment before we leave. But you lucky, Phil, that I'm not going to get on you right now. Just because my boy brought you into the ring real fast. I'm not going to give you a quick slick shot because I know you a grandpa. But, nah, bro. Let's not do that. But if they had Philip, the other one, right? Or excuse me, not Philip, Daniel.
Yeah.
He's a Philip.
Indiana
He's a
Jones.
Philip in my mind.
Indiana Jones. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, did you really expect this much from Daniel Jones?
No.
Obviously, no. A 44-year-old quarterback who hasn't been in the league for 5 years shouldn't have any kind of shot. Right. It's like,
they didn't call Matt Ryan back up. I believe he's probably 44 or 43. But yeah, it would have been more of a threat. That is a good team. It would have been a dangerous team with Daniel Jones. Whether he's the difference maker or not, he was making that team run, right? And so that's fine. Titans, we all know what that is. And then the Bears are actually good. To keep it real, the Bears are 9-4, I believe, or 9-5. And they're one of these teams that kind of fall into that category of why I'm concerned with the league. But in terms of record, they're legit. So I do have to say those are two legit. 3 out of these 4 games are winning teams, right? So we'll see how it turns out. We could easily walk away with going on a 3-game L streak to end the season, which I don't even, at this point, Faithful, I'm sorry to say this, I just don't care. I just want to see good ball. I want to see us walk away with no more injuries. Please get these guys to the next season, right? And let's really focus on this draft. I love what we did last year. So let's just keep focusing on that. Let's reset. Let's continue to get younger in the right spots and keep the stars where they are. So that's that for the Niners. Put down in the comments what record you think we're going to finish with. Again, right now we are 9-4, and we have 4 games left to go. So let me know what you think we finish as. Put that in the comments below, and we're going to move to the Raiders.
Oh, boy. The Raiders, things are looking complete opposite over there for the boys.
Memphis, please.
Looking for potential first pick of the draft, maybe, which I'm not a huge fan of.
Cooking.
I could go deep into that where it's Fernando Mendoza.
Woo!
Talked about him before.
Woo!
But looking like moving forward for the Raiders, they're going to go with Kenny Pickett, let Geno Smith. I guess he's hurt. Who cares? Been waiting for Kenny Pickett to be the guy that they give the reins to. Can't be any worse than Geno Smith's been this season.
Nice.
So, 2-11. We're more looking towards the next season with only, 3 games left. I would honestly say sparingly play our young superstars. Maybe give them the first half of game, see how it's going, and if it's not going well, send them to the bench. And that's coming from more of a front office managerial standpoint rather than a coach's standpoint. But I think it needs to be another overhaul, and it's not finding somebody else who's kind of like Pete Carroll or a veteran coach, but somebody like we talked about before, where we need to bring an influx of youth into the team. My strategy going forward would start with the coach. We got to get rid of Pete Carroll. Nobody's believing in that no more. Nobody's trying to watch that. Nobody's trying to listen to that. Clearly didn't work. Lots of expectations for this season. Nothing went to plan.
Get him out of there.
So clearly, and I would have to assume he's lost some of the young stars on the team. So I say get rid of Pete Carroll, bring in somebody like potentially the coach from Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman. I think he could be a good option of somebody moving forward, somebody who knows young players, somebody who knows how to change things up and just bring another new leadership role into the Raiders organization, which clearly there's no culture there right now. There's guys like Max Crosby trying to figure it out, but I don't even know how great of a relationship somebody like Max Crosby has with somebody like Brock Bowers. Like, I know they're both dogs, but it's just like, I feel like there's different personalities, and having a coach that can bring them all together and like mix them together rather than just having a bunch of individual stars, not like bringing a team environment, like somebody like a Fred Warner or just like guys on teams who are just solid veterans. And that would lead me to our next point is focus on defense, or obviously get a quarterback. If we're going to be a top 2 pick, let's go for somebody like the Oregon quarterback, Dante Moore. Somebody who's exciting, got a big arm, can maybe move around, be exciting for our young guys like Brock Bowers to think, oh, maybe somebody who can get it to me. Hey, Ashton Genty, somebody who's exciting to be next to in the backfield. Then we go out and we also focus on defense from then on. We have some good young solid players, but I think we need to not bring in old veterans like we have this year, where our team is just filled with old vets on our defense. Let's go out and get one of these like 26, 27-year-old like stud linebackers or free safeties or something like that really know how to, like I say, bring the whole team together. There's disconnect between the defensive line and the linebackers, the defensive line and the DBs, the linebackers and the DBs. We need somebody who can bring everybody together. We need maybe an influx of a couple guys, but we need to really pay out for our defense because we already have so much on the offense that I think a young, exciting quarterback can succeed with the guys that we have. And especially with another year with this line that didn't really perform that well this year, maybe we get another guy. We have another year of continuity. It could bring some more excitement and some more expectations that are looking good rather than like, oh, let's go get some more Band-Aids to heal this team. No, let's rip the Band-Aid that we have off and bring in some new energy for this team that over the last 20 plus years has really just been kind of going in that same circle of, hey, we're not looking good. Get a new coach that's kind of a veteran that can't really connect. Have them implement something. No, it doesn't work. Try it again. No, we need to try something new. And it feels like these days, not only in football, but in other sports as well, bringing in a new team with youth and excitement and a new kind of coaching strategy is something I feel like would really benefit the Raiders moving forward. So done with this season, in my opinion. Throw in the white towel, protect the guys that we have that are actually good, throw in other guys, see what they got, see if we can bring them into next season with a little bit of optimism, and then focus moving forward because this year is done. We're 2-11. Nothing's looking good. Again, another season where all players are probably just looking at each other like, what is going on here? And so we need somebody come and change things, and we need Tom Brady to try and like
clone
himself or something. Just the guys need to come together because whatever we've tried to throw at them, whether it's been, oh, we got Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll, clearly those schemes didn't work for our guys. Nobody was with that. Nobody was with it the last few years except when we had interim head coach Bisaccia.
Yeah.
And that was like the only success that we had for the last 5 or 6 years and got rid of him. Yeah. And then we have everybody getting behind Antonio Pierce, and then we don't give him Jaden Daniels.
Right.
And it's like that would at least at least give him a shot. But he's even said in interviews and stuff after, now that he's a coach on other teams, how he's like, yeah, what you do is you go get the guy that can get you some wins. Like, you got to get me the guy that I want. But if you don't, you can't expect me to have success. So, that's been the Raiders' MO for so long right now that they really need to buy into this youth movement. And because what do you have to lose? Like, if you get more vets, we haven't seen that work at all. And I don't think they've tried let me bring in some youth and something new. And I think it's just been a lot of the same and a lot of the old. So I think moving forward, let's get some youth in there and let's get in a new coach.
So let's assume that this is the last question before we move on from the
Yeah.
Raiders. If you guys do win the number 1 overall pick, it sounds like Fernando Mendoza would be Mendoza. Yes, that's correct. The former Cal quarterback and Indiana current quarterback who looks like he's the Heisman. He's going to be the favorite, actually. It looks like all signals would point to him being the guy that would be chosen at number 1. The other two things that have been put out here, because everybody says John Spytek is like this, is that maybe he would prefer to trade for Kyler Murray or Mac Jones as opposed to try to develop a quarterback on day 1 or day 2. If it were Mendoza, Kyler Murray, or Mac Jones, right? And this is just with you guys having the first pick. Because if you guys don't get it, then you're pretty much by default going to get Dante Moore, which it sounds like that's what you would prefer. But let's just say this is the situation. Who do you want out of that? Who would you want out of those 3 quarterbacks?
I think I would want Mac Jones out of the 3. With my head, thinking with my head. With my heart, I'm thinking Kyler Murray because I think he's awesome to watch. I just know he's very little, so it makes it hard for him to be successful, even though he's got so much stats that he's put up, but it hasn't equaled wins since that one season that got derailed real quick. So I would say Mac Jones would probably be the best, but I think it's really just a result of this draft. Like if we had next year's pick or last year's pick or, then I don't think we have that discussion. I think it's like, nope, we got a guy who's going to be somebody for the next 10 years. This draft, I mean, you got the next closest thing to Chris Hinkie, who was like 28 when he was a quarterback coming out of college. So, I mean, I'm a little jaded by the name. This dude was a quarterback for Cal, obviously, the team that we watch. I mean, maybe it just shows how bad the recruiting classes were for our wide receivers the last few years or whatever. But, he did not look that dope. And I'll be honest, I haven't watched too much of him at Indiana, but it seems to me like this is kind of just I don't get it. I haven't watched enough Indiana. Their coach seems cool. He seems like he's a G, but that's how you always seem when you're winning every time.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's something that's new to me because what the hell is Indiana doing in the college football playoff? It's just
the number 1 seed.
Yeah,
the
I don't know. It's just weird. So it seems
now.
fraudulent to me. So and you're 26. I mean, if you're not whooping these dudes and knowing how to beat 18-year-olds, bro, like, how good are you in general? So I don't see it being positive moving forward for the Raiders because why go for somebody that old when you can go for somebody like Mac Jones or Kyler Murray who's been in the league for a while and has shown that they could play in the league rather than a 26-year-old that could just flop. And so that's why I would go Dante Moore at the end of the day if I were to pick any of these quarterbacks. But yeah, maybe a Mac Jones will be. It seems like it's going to come down to the coaching because whatever we have players on the Raiders that are solid.
Right.
It just doesn't seem like we're putting them in a position to be successful.
Absolutely. Well answered. So let's see. You put in the comments who you would want to see. Whether it's Mendoza, Dante Moore, Kyler Murray, Mac Jones, or somebody else. Go ahead and drop it in the comments who you think should be the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders next year.
I mean, yeah, if we do end up going for the quarterbacks on free agency or for a trade or whatever it may be, I think it would be wise for us to trade back in the draft and accumulate some more draft picks that 100%. Could be first, second, third round area just to bolster our roster because as of this point, it's like we don't have nobody that's solid on our team, and anybody who's semi-solid like a Jamal Adams or Devin White, like these guys are ready to retire. So 100%. We need a lot of guys.
Absolutely. So the last thing before we move out of the NFL is obviously, as Mitch mentioned before, we won't hang around it for too long because this is a guy who's been around for too long. So Phillip Rivers is coming back to the NFL at 44. The only thing I have written here is what, how, and why, and that is rightfully so. We don't know. Nobody's going to sit here and act like we could figure out some dialogue that would make this make sense for y'all. Somebody must love him. He must love somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe a deal was on the table or something was in place as a bet. We don't know, but this has that kind of feeling.
He must. I mean, it must be the GM or the owner.
Right.
She must know. She must have kept in contact
Right.
with Phillip because she's been on the field, so she knows how it's going down this whole time. So
This
she's
feels-
like, I checked our boards this whole time, been taking notes
Right.
on the end of the notes every time. I've been like,
Right.
if all goes wrong, call Phillip.
Right.
So
Not
clearly
not
they
hundreds of
break the
quarterbacks.
glass for
Yeah.
emergency.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, Phillip, that guy.
Right. Not the hundreds of quarterbacks
Right.
who are younger and waiting in the wings, but go get the 44-year-old who has never won shit. You know. But anyway, Phillip is a grandfather, so maybe they're trying to break some record that we have not heard of bringing a certain amount of grandfathers out of retirement into active work. But Phil is gonna get cooked. We play him in about a week, 2 weeks. I hope we don't retire that man, but I don't see how a hit wouldn't do that. I don't see how a sack wouldn't do that. But man, how would you feel if you're just one of these other guys? We don't actually need to respond to this. It's more rhetorical. But just take a second, audience, and think about how would you feel working your tail off? You're in your 20s, right? How would you feel? You just got out the league. You're in your early 30s, right? And all things are going awry for teams. They're on their third stringer. They're making calls. And you see come across your feed, Phillip Rivers, 44, 1-0. Grandfather recently gets that call.
I'm hot.
Well, I can tell you right now, if you want to see somebody react to that, just look up Cam Newton. He has put a little bit of how that feels on the internet. So that's that. Phil's coming back. If you love him, you'll love this. If you don't love him, you'll just be like, what in the heliante is going on? And that's where I'm at. Right. So that's enough. We'll go ahead and move on to the bouncing ball, the orange bouncing ball.